It is the largest public works project in human history. A circulatory system of concrete and steel stretching for over 48,000 miles. It's a project so vast, so woven into the fabric of America, that most of us don't even see it anymore. We just use it. But this network wasn't inevitable. Before it, America was a patchwork of disconnected towns and treacherous roads. Getting from New York to San Francisco could take months. So how did the nation that built these icons of industry undertake a project orders of magnitude bigger? How did they pave an entire continent? This is the story of the project that created modern America, the Interstate Highway System. To understand the interstate, you have to understand the man who championed it. And his journey started right here, in the mud. In 1919, a young Army officer named Dwight D. Eisenhower joined a military convoy on a cross-country trip. It was a disaster. The 62-day trek was plagued by broken bridges, bottomless mud, and constant breakdowns. The experience stuck with him. Decades later, during World War II, General Eisenhower saw its opposite. He witnessed Germany's Autobahn, a network of high-speed strategic highways that allowed troops and supplies to move with incredible efficiency. When Eisenhower became president, the Cold War was freezing over. He saw America's patchwork of roads not just as an inconvenience, but as a critical national security risk. What if they needed to evacuate cities in the event of a nuclear attack? What if they needed to move armies coast to coast to repel an invasion? Eisenhower's vision was born from two experiences: the nightmare of America's mud and the marvel of Germany's concrete. He envisioned a system that would serve both commerce and defense. In 1956, it became reality. The National Interstate and Defense Highways Act was signed into law. It was a blueprint for the single most ambitious construction project ever conceived. The plan was revolutionary. First, limited access. No more stoplights, no more intersections. This was for high-speed, uninterrupted travel. Second, minimum standards. Every mile of road had to have at least 4 lanes, 12-foot wide lanes, and a median strip. Overpasses had to have a minimum clearance of 16 feet, high enough for military vehicles to pass under. And the most crucial part, the funding. The federal government would pay 90% of the cost, with states paying just 10%. It was an offer the states couldn't refuse. A gas tax was created to pour money into a highway trust fund, creating a self-sustaining financial engine for construction. The initial goal was staggering: connect 90% of American cities with a population over 50,000. 41,000 miles, to be built in just over a decade, at a cost of $25 billion. They had the plan, they had the money, now they just had to build it. And America was about to find out that paving a continent is a little harder than drawing lines on a map. The sheer variety of America's landscape was the first great enemy. In the West, they didn't just go around the Rocky Mountains, they blasted through them. Projects like the Eisenhower Memorial Tunnel in Colorado took years, boring through solid granite over 11,000 feet above sea level. In the swamps of Louisiana, they couldn't go through, so they went over. The Atchafalaya Basin Bridge carries I-10 for 18 miles over a massive, unforgiving wetland. Engineers had to sink thousands of concrete pilings deep into the unstable mud to support the roadway. But the most complex challenge wasn't in the wild, it was in the cities. Weaving multi-lane freeways through dense urban centers required a new kind of three-dimensional thinking. This gave birth to the concrete titans we know as spaghetti junctions. This is the Judge Harry Pregerson Interchange in Los Angeles. It's a 5-level stack of ramps, bridges, and tunnels carrying hundreds of thousands of cars every day. Designing these required complex geometry and immense precision to ensure traffic flowed without a single intersection. Multiply this complexity by 1,000, and you have the urban nervous system of the interstate. The scale was unprecedented. Millions of workers, thousands of companies, all working from a single standardized playbook to create the most integrated network the world had ever seen. The original 10-year plan stretched to over 35 years, and the $25 billion price tag ballooned to over $120 billion, or $500 billion in today's money. But its impact? Priceless. The interstate system fundamentally rewired America. It created a single continental economy. The cost of shipping goods plummeted, giving rise to national retail chains and just-in-time delivery. It fueled the growth of the suburbs, allowing people to live miles from their city jobs. And it created an American icon, the road trip, the freedom to just drive. But this progress came at a cost. In the cities, the path of least resistance for these new highways was often straight through established, vibrant, and frequently minority neighborhoods. Communities that had existed for generations were literally bulldozed, their homes and businesses paved over, creating divisions that still exist today. The interstate prioritized the car above all else, leading to a decline in passenger rail and walkable city centers. It gave America its freedom, but it also locked it into a dependency on the automobile. It is a legacy of connection and division, of progress and sacrifice. The Interstate Highway System is not a relic of the past. It is a living megaproject, constantly being repaired, expanded, and reimagined. It is the invisible giant that underpins the rhythm of American life, a monumental answer to a simple question: how do you connect a continent? If you enjoyed this breakdown of America's biggest project, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. We've covered dams, bridges, and now highways. What should we break down next? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.